Oh my goodness, people. Oh my goodness. So yesterday I put out a video also just talking about the latest news of the day yesterday. The judge in the Fani Willis case, Scott McAfee, we discovered that in 2020 he gave $150 to Fani Willis's election campaign for, I think it was for district attorney. I said, I don't really care about that. He worked under Fani. He probably should have disclosed that to the parties in this case. So I said, I'm sticking with the judge is going to disqualify Big Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. All right. Then the news of today breaks, people. You remember that part of the trial when Yurdi said, no, they were dating since 2019. They were bumping uglies since 2019. And then Terrence Bradley, who they then, proceeded to annihilate with gratuitous accusations of sexual assault. He came and said, yeah, I okayed that affidavit where I said their relationship predated that as well, in privilege or in confidence, so you can't talk about it. And then Nathan Wade gets on the stand and says, no, we only started knocking boots in 2022 because in 2021 and 2020, I was going through medical procedures. I was suffering from an illness that precluded my ability to engage in the nasty. And then when Fani Willis gets on the stage, because she's a raging psychopath, she gets on the stage and says, I don't want to emasculate a black man. I mean, this is verbatim. I don't talk in racial terms. I don't talk in ethnic terms as a reflex. I actually consider that something of a form of racism or discrimination, to just look at someone and say, I wouldn't emasculate a Jew. I wouldn't emasculate a woman. I wouldn't emasculate a black man. She gets up and says, I wouldn't emasculate a black man because he was going through some procedure, strongly implying it was prostate cancer and he couldn't get it up for the purposes of doing the nasty. The irony being, when someone says, I wouldn't emasculate a black man to the world, that's exactly what she's doing. And she knows it. It's not to protect from emasculation, it's to emasculate. It's a power move done by narcissists who want to insult and degrade while pretending that they're not doing it. I wouldn't emasculate a black man, but he had something unique that precluded the sex. Well, we don't know if they were having sex, but what we do know is that they lied about the date of their relationship, it would seem. We don't know if they were having sex, but we certainly know that he spent the night, got there at 12:30 and left at 4:30 in the morning. We certainly know that before they said they were officially dating, before they signed Nathan Wade's contract, they were in contact. And I mean contact of we don't know about the type of the contract. Listen to this. 2,000 plus calls, 12,000 texts alleged between DA Fani Willis, special prosecutor. I don't really think it's alleged anymore. I mean, I know they're going to say it's alleged because it comes from an expert report and it hasn't been proven or admitted. Donald Trump's Georgia attorneys hired a private investigator to map calls, texts between Willis and Nathan Wade. Listen to this. A private investigator hired by former President Donald Trump, Georgia's attorneys, alleged more than 2,000 phone calls and just under 12,000 text messages. I'm trying to think of anyone on earth that I would have had 12,000 text messages with within a year. I wish there were an app to determine it, because I don't even think I text my wife a lot. Like, she just texted me right now. Apparently, she took my kid to meet my mom. That's weird. That's not so weird. My parents are coming over for dinner. I don't think I text my wife. I have no idea, but that sounds like a lot of text messages. You just assume like that's 5 seconds of text message. I'll do the math later. On Friday, Trump attorneys, yada, yada, yada. Okay, they hired a 59-year-old investigator. The 8 pages, basically 1 page consists of certifying what this guy does. And as an expert, yes, he's worked with law enforcement. He used the system to track and geolocate their calls, and he produced what's called a heat map. And it's getting heated up. Wade and Willis engaged in a now acknowledged romantic relationship, but the couple claimed the relationship only began after Willis was hired, using a cellular geomapping and analysis program called Cellhawk. Middlestaat's report revealed more than 2,000 voice calls and just under 12,000 text messages in an 11-month period prior to Nathan Wade getting the contract. Whoopsie doodle. Like, forget disqualification at this point. What's the penalty for perjury? They're going to get disbarred. Friday's court hearing said a heat map highlights the interaction patterns which demonstrate a prevalence of calls made in the evening hours. The analysis appears to indicate Willis and Wade were communicating extensively before they say their romantic relationship began. Some key findings. Listen to this. Slides 8 through 10. November 30, deeper analysis described in the attached affidavit of Mr. Wade's cell phone tracking on November 30, revealing the following activity. Following a call from Miss Fani Willis at 11:30 p.m., which continues for p.m. is before midnight, people. p.m. Yes, before midnight, which continues for 40 minutes, leaving the towers located near his residence at 12:05, outgoing call at 12:38 to Fani Willis a.m. That's after midnight now. Traveling directly and arriving within geo-fence located at the Dogwood address at 12:43 a.m., leaving the Dogwood address at 4:55 a.m. He gets the booty call makes the booty call at 11:30 p.m., gets there by 12:43 a.m., stays and leaves 4 hours later. And I made a joke to a tweet that I would have been out of there by 1 o'clock in the morning. Bada bing, bada boom, I would have been home with my schmeckle in my pants because I'm a married man and oh God. Anyway, that's the best part of that. What's super cool, let's go to the heat map, shall we? It's the visual. It's the visual of the document that's so good. Hawk Analytics heat map analysis. During period of records in 2021, so January 1st, 2021 to November 30th, 2021, prior to the contract, they revealed the following between Wade and Willis. 12,000 text messages, 2,000 voice calls, 9,000 text messages. Heavy concentration after hours. 7 days a week. That ain't no professional relationship right there, I'll tell you what. Maybe it is. Maybe they were talking about that conference that they attended back in the day. This is cosmic justice. This is karma. The corrupt people are the ones prosecuting Trump right now. And it just seems that one after the other suffers some form of Trump curse. When you are filled with hatred, it eventually consumes you. These people are filled with hatred, and they will eventually consume them. So Supplemental Defense, Exhibit 38 to the hearing on the motion to disqualify. President Trump here follows this thing, yada, yada. Okay, fine. Expertise of the expert, Charles Milstat, 59 years old, criminal defense investigator. They get the AT&T documents using a leads online analytics tool called CellHawk. It's considered by law enforcement the gold standard. And he goes to show, they made sure to, really be conservative in their assessment by taking only specific cell towers within, 3,000 feet of Wade's Yurdi address, so they wouldn't accidentally potentially capture other movement. Cornerstone of CellHawk analytics tool is its inability to manipulate data. It's uploaded, received by the cell provider custodian. Once loaded, it can be queried and examined in innumerable ways. From there, the data can be generated using filters. Under normal circumstances, analysis is conducted on data involving far narrower record, perhaps a few days or even a few weeks. Generating report attaches Exhibit A, isolating all interactions between Mr. Wade and Mrs. Willis during the period, the dates, times, frequency, duration, etc., etc. The report revealed 2,000 voice calls, under 12,000 text messages in the 11 months leading up to 2021. That date being critical because that is when they said their relationship began. No, that was when Wade got the contract, when they said their relationship only began in 2022. The romantic, sexy time. Listen to this. Focusing on geolocation activity near Dogwood Drive, Hapeville. That's where Yurdi's apartment was. Yurdi, the one who also testified, they were bumping uglies well before 2022. In 2019. Can't remember if it was November, but it was in 2019. She testified by Yurdi to be the address of her condominium, generating a report to reflect such activity, attached as Exhibit C. Given the urgency associated with the need to analyze this newly acquired data against the relevant testimony, I construed a very conservative geofence, which isolated 2 cell towers in the closest proximity to Yurdi's apartment or condo. The purpose of this geofence was to conduct an initial assessment of whether Wade's phone ever connected to these towers. Additionally, the modality was used to eliminate the possibility that hits could be associated with routine travel on either the I-75, I-85, or visits to the nearby attractions or the airport. Remember the testimony. Oh no, I was there to go to restaurants even though I was going through a procedure that made me very fearful of germs. I was going to the airport even though I was going through a procedure that made me very fearful of germs. This guy says, I've narrowed this data down to a way that excludes that possibility as per their testimony. Following the initial conservative sweep limited to those 2 towers, I further constrained those findings to hits on the Alpha Sector azimuth, which pointed directly at the Dogwood Drive community. Additionally, the report was limited to those occasions when the phone was connected for an extended period of time. The conservative analysis using the above reference modality revealed a minimum of 35 occasions where Wade's phone connected for an extended period of time to either one of those towers in proximity to the Dogwood address, based upon associated data, use, voice, etc., etc. Because the limitations, what do we got here? Oh, anyways, then he goes, that's how they did it. Additionally, on November 29, 2021, Mr. Wade's phone was pinging on the East Cobb Towers near his residence following a call from Ms. Willis. The call continued. His phone left the East Cobb area just after midnight and arrived within the geofence located on the Dogwood address at 12:43 in the morning, and then the phone remained there until 4:55 in the morning, when I guess he had to go home. Not to his, I guess, I don't know. Did he go home to his wife? I mean, they were divorced by that time, right? No. Oh, no, that's right. Their marriage was irretrievably broken. Wild. They're thoroughly screwed, and not in the way that they're used to. So we'll see what happens. The hearing is going to pick up again next Friday, and my goodness, will I be streaming it, guaranteed.